เปิดเผยความลับของจักรวาลผ่านนักเดินทางแห่งกาลเวลาเพียงเมื่อเราเดินทางสู่ภายในเท่านั้นที่เราจะค้นพบจักรวาลที่แท้จริงนั่นคือสัจจะเกี่ยวกับตนเองการเชื่อมโยงกับจิตวิญญาณสูงสุดการดำเนินไปของวงจรละครโลกสิ่งเหล่านี้เลือนหายไปจากความทรงจำของเราค้นพบคำตอบจากนักเดินทางผู้มากประสบการณ์กว่า40ปีจากพระมกุมารีมหาวิทยาลัยทางจิตของโลก Sister Denise Lawrence ทุกวันพฤหัสต้นเดือนเวลา 8:00 ถึง 9:30 น.ช่วงเช้าเริ่ม4 มิถุนายนนี้ Reveal the secrets of the universe by the travel through time. Only when we take the inward journey will we discover the true universe, the forgotten truth about the self, the supreme and the eternal world drama. Find your answers from the experienced traveler, Sister Denise Lawrence, senior teacher over 40 years from Brahma Kumari's World Spiritual University.Every first Thursday of the month, commencing the 4th of June, at 8 to 9:30 in the morning. เราขอต้อนรับผู้แสวงหาสัจจะเข้าสู่การเดินทางผ่านกาลเวลาจากปัญญาโบราณสู่การดำเนินชีวิตสมัยใหม่บางครั้งเราคิดว่าความลับที่ลึกล้ำที่สุดของชีวิตสามารถพบได้ในวัดวาหรือในสถานที่อันลี้ลับเท่านั้นด้วยการเดินทางที่ยากลำบากยาวนานและไกลแสนไกลสัจจะกล่าวว่าผู้แสวงหาปรากฏอยู่ในทุกรูปแบบและใช้ชีวิตในหลากหลายวิธีสัจจะกล่าวว่าเราไม่จำเป็นต้องไปที่ใดไม่ต้องซื้อตั๋วเครื่องบินไม่ต้องเก็บเป้สัมภาระแต่เราต้องพร้อมที่จะเดินทาง We welcome you, the seekers, to travel through time from the ancient wisdom to the modern way of living. The truth is that the seeker can come from many different backgrounds, living all kinds of lives. The truth is that you don't have to go anywhere. No bags to pack.But you do have to be ready to travel. ท่านเคยมองดูท้องฟ้าประดับประดาด้วยหมู่ดาวที่งดงามในความกว้างใหญ่ไพศาลของจักรวาลหรือไม่ท่านเคยอยู่โดยลำพังในเวลากลางคืนเช่นนั้นเพื่อครุ่นคิดถึงความหมายที่แท้จริงของชีวิตหรือไม่อะไรหรือคือสัจจะที่เป็นสากลท่านคือใครท่านจะไปไหนหลังความตายอะไรคือสัจจะที่เป็นสากลฉันคือใครฉันจะไปไหนหลังความตายฉันกำลังทำอะไรอยู่ที่นี่เวลานี้การเกี่ยวพันของจักรวาลและมนุษย์ให้คำตอบในตัวตนและปัญญาที่แท้จริงภายในขอให้เราค้นพบความลี้ลับของชีวิตและโลกจากการร่วมรู้ความหมายของภาพและสัญลักษณ์ในจิตใจของเราเองDo you ever look at the sky and adorn the splendid galaxy and admire the infinity of the universe? Do you ever linger alone in the night, pondering the true meaning of life? What is the universal truth? Who am I? Where will I go after death? What am I doing here now? Relation of the universe and human answer to spirit and soul are in our inner true self and innate wisdom.Let us explore and reveal the secret of the universe to different pictures and symbols in our mind. นี่คือสัญลักษณ์ของกุญแจ7 ดอกแห่งการรู้แจ้งสำหรับนักเดินทาง This is the 7 keys of enlightenment of the traveler. First, the light between the eyes.แสงระหว่างดวงตา Second, the alpha point จุดอัลฟาเจ้าแห่งแสง Thirdly, the silent union การหลอมรวมในความเงียบสงบ Fourth, the justice of karma ความยุติธรรมแห่งกรรม Fifth, the never-ending cycle วงจรที่ไม่จบสิ้น Sixth, recognizing the time การตระหนักในคุณค่าของเวลา The seven, the door to the future ประตูสู่อนาคต
In the darkness and chaos of this world, where do I find the guiding light?
Step into the light. Fill yourself with might.
Come join us on this journey to reveal the secrets of the universe. Accompanied by Sister Denise from the UK and Sister La from Thailand.
Hello, I'm Prachul Bosley, and I bid you all a very warm welcome to this series and the second episode of the series, The Alpha Point. If you have not watched the first episode, The Light Between Our Eyes, please find the link in the description. On this journey, we are accompanied by a very experienced traveler, Sister Denise. Sister Denise comes from the UK, and she has chosen to immerse herself into spirituality since the age of 23. She embraced Raj Yoga meditation at the age of 23, and then she traveled across the globe and captivated audiences with her unique depth of knowledge and wisdom. Sister Denise is amongst the few pioneer thinkers of our generation. It's a pleasure to have you, Sister Denise, and thank you so much for joining us in this episode. We also have another pioneer thinker, Sister La, with us from Thailand. Sister La, please join us on the platform as well.
Welcome to Thailand. Again, Sister Denise, your every step, as you're aware, is to serve the world. Your words of wisdom, as well as your vibration of good wishes for all, is truly appreciated. The second episode is Alpha Point, the point of light and the point of life. The end and the beginning meet in Alpha. So let the journey begin to see how it ends today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Sister La. Thank you. And it is a great pleasure for me to be here with you once again, talking about the most interesting, the deepest, the most beautiful one, who is actually described as the beautiful, the truth, the one who is the benefactor. And today's topic is the alpha point. And what is this alpha point? Let us go into the depth of that. In our introductory slides and videos, we saw the universe, the stars. And in our universe, there is one star that doesn't move, and that is called the pole star. That is the reference star for sailors as they're crossing the ocean with no other guiding point to enable them to reach the destination. And this is also symbolic of another guiding star which lies beyond this universe. When you ask people about the Supreme Being, about God, they will tell you either they believe in God, or they don't believe in God, or they are agnostic, they don't know, they don't have enough information. And this is the quest to find, is there God? What is God? Where is God? What is God like? What is our connection with that one? What is this all about? And in fact, each and every one of us also call ourselves souls. We saw in the first episode how we come to know our own identity as spirits, as beings of light. And the alpha point is that one who is the mother, father, creator, friend, guide, guru, teacher, fountain of wisdom, the one who lets us know who we are, who that one is, and what is the meaning of life. And let us explore and make that contact and connection. The form of that one is a point, such an extraordinary geometrical item, the point. It is the only thing in this physical world which is not physical, yet it is there to help us understand that there is such a thing, such a one as God, the Supreme Being, who is in the form of a point of light, no physical dimension. Contained within that point of light is the ocean of mercy. One very beautiful statement that comes from in India, this ocean of mercy, the point of light. So beautiful. Poets and mystics have been yearning and contemplating and from time to time making contact, making connection, and experiencing that beauty, that bliss, that extraordinary, wonderful feeling of being one with the Supreme. And they write about this. And I think all spiritual paths and practices and religions are there because the soul has an enduring desire to connect and to meet with that one. So the point also means the purpose. What is really the purpose of our life? I think usually we say happiness. And what we mean by happiness, there are all kinds of simple forms of happiness like happy life, prosperity, good health, good relations. But we want to go deeper. I think a very highest form of happiness, we would call that fulfillment. Fulfillment is deep in the soul. where the soul makes connection with that ocean of wisdom, ocean of love. What do you want as a being? You want strength, you want love, you want peace. You crave purity, you crave silence, you crave understanding. And all of this is fulfilled when you make connection with that who we call the Supreme Being. Where is that one? Some people say, oh, it's everywhere, it's all around us. Other people say, all around us is chaos, all around us is everything that seems to be the opposite of God. So probably the location of that one would be beyond, and indeed it is. The Supreme Being, a tiny point of light, infinitesimally small, yet infinitely powerful, infinitely knowledgeable, infinite love, infinite purity, infinite goodness. How do I make contact with that one? Where do I go for that? And in fact, we need to understand that the material universe is not all there is. In India, they speak of the three worlds. Interesting idea, the three worlds, not three different planets, no. The world of matter is the one that we are familiar with. And then there is another world, sometimes called the subtle world. I call it the mind space, the world of the mind, the world of thought, the world of inner experiences. And indeed, in this world, you can have many beautiful experiences of connecting with the divine, but that Supreme Being lies beyond even the world of the mind. You must know this word nirvana. Nirvana, the world beyond sound, the world of light, the sixth element of light. It is a region beyond this universe, total silence, no movement, no time. There is where God dwells. And that is also the place where we originated. We came from there. We came onto this earth. We adopted bodies. We interact with each other in this huge drama of life. And ultimately, we will again return to that still, quiet place of light. We will go back to our home. We will go back to God, the Supreme Being. So we came from there. We are here. We travel through the universe, and then ultimately we go back there, and then we come back again, continuously moving between silence and sound, stillness and action. What causes us to yearn for connection with God? When we are in a perfect state, in a perfect world, and everything is exactly, could not be improved upon, there we do not think about such things. But when things go really wrong in our lives, individually or collectively, what word comes out of the mouth or out of the mind? It is the expression, oh God, oh God, what's happening? Oh God, do something. Oh God, I don't understand what's going on. Oh God. So this deep inner voice that calls to God, saying, oh God, comes from a deep, ancient memory. Sooner or later, every soul must have an encounter with God, the Supreme Being. And that encounter leaves such a powerful imprint on the heart and mind of every being that when circumstances become such, then the soul immediately goes there and looks for that source. So we are at a time when the world is full of challenges and people want to have that connection because you need power, you need strength, you need love. The soul has become depleted. And so we turn our attention to that highest, holiest, most beautiful being of light who is there for us, who is called our mother, our father, our friend, our teacher, our guide. And how do we connect? That one is in the world of light. We are in the world of matter. And so we need to go onto the same level as that one in order to connect. And so that one invites us, opens up the gates of that region and says, just consider yourself to be also a point of light. Just let go of your attachment to your body. Know yourself as a being of light and come to me in the world of light, and I will fill you with all the love, the peace, the beauty, the wisdom, the strength, whatever you need. I am the source, the force. I am your eternal friend. I am the one. Come to me. And so we go to that one. Traveling there. How do you travel? You don't travel with an airplane. Airplanes stay within the material world. No, this is travel with the mind. I travel by thought, focusing my mind on that point of light beyond and just allowing myself to go there. It's very simple, but very subtle. What do we know about that one? What does that one do? We've heard about the acts of God. What does God do? Does God do anything? Definitely. God definitely does something, but God is not a human soul. The divine supreme being is one of a kind, one who remains changeless, who is called always, who is called immutable. The ocean always is full. The ocean of peace, the ocean of purity never becomes empty. We travel through time and space. We act, we interact, and as we do that, the soul gets depleted. And when the soul is really running on empty, that also inspires the soul to remember the source, because the soul needs to fill. The soul needs that strength that comes from a mental connection with the Supreme Being, and that is called yoga. Yoga of the mind. We also call it yoga of the intellect, because the intellect is that part of the consciousness that focuses the mind on the being of God, because all experiences take place in the mind. So the mind must contact the Supreme Being in order for there to be that passing of the energy between the Supreme Being, God, the Divine Being, and I, the Self, the Soul. So I must travel there, open myself up, be the tiny point, and connect. It is as if you are creating a shaft of light, like a laser beam, between yourself. You remember from the last time, the soul sits in the center of the forehead, and by concentrated thoughts, you carry yourself above and beyond and connect with that beautiful light, and then open and receive. God is the ocean of knowledge, the ocean of wisdom. People have so many questions. What am I? What is life? What is death? Why is everything the way it is? God speaks to us, conveys to us what we are, conveys to us what He is. And He says, I am light. I am your father, your mother, your friend, your guide, your teacher. So now listen carefully, and I will tell you the story of humanity. Such a beautiful story, known only to the mother and the father, the creator. God says, look at your condition right now. You used to be so beautiful, so rich, so elegant, so full of wisdom, and all of it got used up and you became empty. Now, fill once again with my wisdom, my powers, my virtues, and you will become once again as you were, beautiful, pure, free, completely relieved from all of your sorrows, sufferings, all of this. God, what is your name? What do you call yourself? He says, my name is Shiva. Shiva means the benevolent, the seed, the point. It is a name that describes who He is. He, she, genderless, bodiless, beyond cultures and religions, beyond whatever a human being could invent. And so we need to listen directly and hear how He describes Himself, how Shiva is our mother and our father and our teacher, our guide. He says, I am the purifier. Souls had become very corrupt because of performing negative karma. So God teaches the laws of karma and gives you the power and the clarity to perform right action and to become free. This is the study. How to be and what to do. So simple and yet so deep. He says, okay, I am making you into the most beautiful, the most wise. Why? Because a single human being is the microcosm of humanity. At the present time, humanity is living in a world that looks much more like hell than heaven. But God is famous for creating heaven. How is this done? He says, it's very easy for me. I simply enable you to become like me. I fill you with all my qualities, all my wisdom, all my powers. And when you become God-like, when you are in harmony with each other, when you understand each other and love each other, and when you perform pure action from a pure heart and a pure mind, then this world becomes a pure world, the world of heaven. And this is what my creation is. God does not just clap his hands and there's a planet. No, it's much deeper, it's much more subtle than that. He says, no, each and every one of you, that is us souls, we are eternal. You never did not exist. You never will cease to exist. What does God do? Changes us from gross to subtle, from suffering to happy, from ignorant to wise, from affected by negativity to free and positive, beautiful. This is the creation. He says, I need to show you how to liberate yourself from all of your bondages and chains of negative karma. And the way you do this is very simple. You stay in the soul conscious stage, which we talked about the last time. Just being a soul in the center of the forehead, focused on the being of God, and draw that energy, that light, that purity into the self. And slowly the self changes. You become rejuvenated, purified, cleaned, purged of whatever impurities came in for whatever reason. And we learn to perform pure karma so that there is a transformation that takes place as we live the life of a yogi, the life of one who studies with God. So we are his children, his students, his friends. So nice. He says, now you have to become free from ideas that you had which did not serve you. And this is why you have to study. All the things we used to believe, like people are bodies, people are males or females, they have a language, they have a culture. No, all that is temporary. He says, now go to your permanent state. Go to the state of being purely my children, my friends, my students. And begin to look at each other as souls. And do not see the superficial visible, but learn to see with the third eye. And so it is said that God, Shiva, is the giver of the third eye of wisdom, the eye with which to perceive God, to perceive ourselves, to perceive each other, and to perceive the creation, the whole creation, from the beginning through the middle to the end. To have the perspective on humanity that God has. That means He takes us out of all our limitations. There are so many things that God does. God is called the great healer, comforter of the heart. So many have broken heart, broken souls. So many experience pain of the body, pain of the mind, philosophical pain, pain of just seeing what we have done to each other, what we have done to nature. And He says, not a problem for me. Let me show you the way. And He takes all of our sorrows, all of our troubles, all of our heartache, and soothes it with His gentle, loving touch. He says, all these things, they're there in your mind, they're there in your subconscious. Now, hold your mind to me, and I will clean your subconscious. I will clean and heal and make you free. Now, this is the wonder of God. Some people say, but I feel very far away from God. God says, it doesn't matter, don't worry. You feel far away for many reasons, but as we handle these reasons one by one, then that feeling of distance is removed and you begin to feel close. The soul feels I'm a sinner and that makes me far away. And God says, okay, you did mistakes. Simply give me your mistakes. Let go of them, and I will clean them from your soul because I am the purifier. Some say, my mind is all over the place and my conscience is biting me. I'm unable to sit still and steady in the remembrance of God. And God says, don't worry. Just gently, slowly, little bit at a time, patiently practice to be a soul. Practice to be my child. Remember your identity. You are a pure, peaceful, beautiful, loving, blissful child of God. And the Father, the teacher, the healer, the mother, the friend is here to bring you back to your original condition. All we have to do is stop resisting. The other thing we have to do, what He also teaches us, is to face down the negative energy, because as soon as you start to get close to God, you begin to experience resistance, negative energy giving you a test or a hard time, something like that. And God says, don't worry about that negative energy. It's supposed to be there because you have to develop strength, internal power, the power of purity. And negative energy is there from the past, from the shadows. It is the nature of life. There is the beautiful power of God, and then there is the opposite, the negative power of darkness. And he says, you have been under the influence of that for a long time, one way or the other. And this has put you in trouble. This has given you sadness, sorrow, hardship, pain. And now I will teach you how to neutralize it. And the first thing is, do not be afraid of it. So just think for a moment, are you afraid of it? Or is it okay? Once you are near to the Supreme Being, then no need to be afraid of the darkness. I don't mean the night when the sun is the other side of the planet, but the dark force of negativity. It is there in the world. It is why there is so much trouble in the world. But when we come to God, for what do we do that? He says, you come to me, but it's not just only for yourself. You come to me, you become my children, my students, my friends, because we have a task. And he invites us to join in his task, the task of freeing the world from all different kinds of darkness, negativity. So he says, first of all, see where it is hiding within your own self, and let it become exposed, and let my light shine on that darkness and neutralize it, and it gradually vanishes. This is the beauty of the connection with God. Never be afraid that negativity emerges. It has to come. It is hiding in deep recesses of your soul, hiding in people you know, hiding in all kinds of places in the world, hiding in the internet, hiding in the community, hiding in all kinds of places. And we say, allow it to expose itself, allow it to come out. Because when it comes out, then the light of God's love can be shined on it, and it can be neutralized. So never be afraid of negativity, never be afraid of darkness. And he tells us one very beautiful thing. Take one step of courage whenever you are faced with difficulties, darkness, hardship, opposition. Take one step of courage, and the Father will give you 1,000 steps of help. So beautiful, so easy. Then he says, have faith. First of all, have faith in yourself, that you are my dear beloved child, that I love you, that you have value, you have worth. And even though you got affected by negativity, that can be removed because your essential self is pure, beautiful, peaceful, loving, and powerful. become free, become pure, become close to God, and you become a conduit for the energy of God to move around in the world. And in this way, the world shifts and changes. So never be afraid of that. So I'm going to stop there and invite all of you to join with me in a meditation. And I think that we will have a little music for this. And I invite you to just listen to a few words that I will share with you and follow along with those words. And this will guide you into that remembrance, that communion and communication with the beautiful one, Shiva, the mother, the father, the friend, in the world of light. Turn your attention within. Gently allow yourself to be a being of light, spark of life that animates. Let yourself perfectly feel your love, your truth. Let yourself gently detach from the consciousness of the body. Let yourself rise beyond the body. Let it sit where it is. Let yourself go above. Fly like a rocket. Let the world fall away. And you are on your way. Familiar with, and then again return to that still place of light. Let yourself open up. Let yourself become so subtle. You feel yourself in the world of light, surrounded by light. You see that point of light, Shiva, the Supreme One, the ocean of beauty. Feel the waves of love reaching you, entering your heart, pulling you towards itself. You float in that beautiful energy flow, peaceful, gentle. Let yourself sink into that gentle person. You emerge that word. Feel this current of energy flows into your being and fills you with light, passing through, reaching out to the world, circling the world. Beautiful flow of energy, art, you feel so close. Become still and silent. Merge. And gently allow yourself to return back. Reconnect with your body. Reconnect with the world. Keep in contact with the light, with Shiva, the mother, father, friend, teacher, and beloved. Shanti.
That was very beautiful, sister. In this time of chaos and uncertainty, I think it's very important when we feel our batteries have been discharged. So there's this seek to connect to something that is a stable source. And perhaps that's where the alpha point comes in. And then when you explained further about the alpha point, then the question comes, how do I connect to that alpha point? And then you beautifully said that if I want to connect, I have to come at the same level at the stage of the alpha point. So as we discussed in the first episode of our series, the point of our light, the point between our forehead. So the awareness that we are the point of light, because the alpha point is also a point of light. And that's when the connection happens. And when I see the alpha point as my father, or attach a relationship with it, there's this bonding of closeness, and that was very beautiful. Because if you see the Supreme as someone who is very decisive, there's this distance it's not that easy to connect. But when you consider the alpha point as someone close to you, it's so easy to connect with him. And with that being said, sister, I think we can get this pool to questions now. I would also like to invite Sister La, if there are any questions from our Thai viewers. There has been a question. There's been a question, sister. The question is that, as you mentioned, there is God, then there comes an aspect of sins and mistakes. So are they the same? Or what is the distinction between the two? And if they are, how do I resolve this sin or mistake that has happened for me using God's power?
We must use God's power, and we must also use some new information that I would like to point out because it's so powerful. In the teachings that God gives us, he says, okay, there are 3 kinds of mistakes that people do, and 2 of them you're very well aware of. One kind of sin is you do something you're not supposed to do, but you do it anyway. Another kind of sin is you don't do what you are supposed to do, but you just don't do it. 2 kinds of mistakes we're very familiar with. But the third one, very few people know about it, but it's a big one. And he says, you take sorrow. Someone gives you trouble, you take sorrow. Someone says something nasty about you or to you, you take sorrow. Someone does something insulting or demeaning, you take sorrow. Someone neglects you, assaults you, hurts you in various ways, you take it in. This is the big mistake. And so he gives us the instruction that whatever happens, you must learn how to not take it in. Learn to be detached. Learn to consider it as just that person is doing that, but it doesn't mean that you have to take it personally. Practice this, because taking sorrow, taking harm from where it is sent to you means that you allow it to contaminate your being. And it is in your hands to take it in or to not take it in. And then the other thing, in terms of all of our past negativity, we need to understand that it has created bondage, and it has created a rust in the sense that it's corroded the soul, it's corrupted the soul. And so the soul needs to get clean. No point in feeling guilty, that really doesn't do any good. The best thing to do is to expose oneself to that light and let it clean the soul and let the soul become free. And in this way, you get light, you get clean, you get pure, and you let go of all of that stuff. And this is a big part of spiritual work. So thank you.
Now, I just wanted to say hello to you again. I just started with like the meeting point at the end is you. The meeting and the beginning meet in Alpha. So I said, let's start, or let's begin the journey. And you took us up to here and about to finish our program. But again, how do you find yourself that you are in the middle of that feelings that you couldn't find yourself and you couldn't find God properly, and you need that clarification and knowledge that you try to teach us now. But what happened if people just not really open up the third eye, and the situation is such as with yours? How could you really be sure that God is connecting with you?
Yeah, that is a very interesting point. I think you have to trust. One is you have to trust, and the other is you have to understand that God is definitely interested in you, definitely interested, definitely wants to be close to you, loves you. I think sometimes we stop ourselves from receiving that beautiful connection with God. Sometimes it is true that we have to be patient. We have to be very patient because we want to go from a gross state to a subtle state. And what generally happens when we start studying with God and learning about Raja Yoga, which means the connection with God that is so powerful and so so important for us, that we just don't quite realize what is our part in it. And it's something that in the early stages we get given the experience so that we know what to do. And then we have to move ourselves to that. Prajwala, you might want to spotlight the video so that people can see. Yeah, that's good. You know that God calls you. You call God, but it doesn't always work. But God calls you. God opens up the doors and says, come, be with me, and reminds you and says, I am with you. No matter what, just have trust that I am with you and allow yourself to open up. Be patient because it may take you a little bit of time to open up, but open up because, you know, you don't need to feel bad about yourself. I think sometimes people do feel bad about themselves because you will have heard many people say, oh, you know, you're not that good, you're not that great, you made so many mistakes, and so on and so forth. And you may feel that God might not like you, but no, this is your mother, your father, your friend, your beloved, absolutely loves you. So it's about just dropping these fears and concerns and just opening up and saying, I'm here, you know, I'm here, come to me.
Oh, oh. Yes, another one that is interesting. The secret of your life is revealed by your own connection. But again, the secret of the universe that will be revealed through Alpha Point. What do you think about that? Because as it says, when you know God, when you found everything, you know everything. How about your feelings of knowing God in that sense?
You know, in my whole life, even from childhood, I always felt able to connect, able to be in contact, but I always felt that my connection with God was altogether different from religions. It was like a very personal thing, and I could never really connect with religions because it just didn't feel the same. So I would just be somewhat detached from that and kind of pursue my own internal feelings. And then when I came to understand and learn the knowledge of soul, karma, the alpha point, who that is, where he is, how to make contact, then everything, falls into place. Because I think for a lot of us, there are certain things that you just know intuitively, but it doesn't always get validated. And so you're never really quite sure, and you think maybe I'm crazy or something like that. But in your heart, there is this desire to connect with the one, to find the one. And, you travel, you read, you study, you go into the depths of yourself, you walk around, you see, is it nature? Is it in scriptures? Is it in ancient monuments? Where do I find it? So we've been searching for a long, long time through many births. But when you find it, you recognize it and you know, yes, this is the one. And then a doorway opens, a whole new landscape opens, and it is a journey of relationship, a journey to come close to that one. You find yourself, you find the alpha point, and along with the alpha point comes beta. Alpha, beta, and also along with the alpha comes the omega. So this closing of the circle. And beta is what comes with God, the kingdom. So they talk about the kingdom within, so your heart is completely fulfilled, but also the world around you changes because you're a conduit for bringing that in. And God knows what to do and just gets on with it. And so we need to recognize and trust these two things, very important.
Like when you know alpha, you know omega. I don't know what you know about yourself. Can you just say a few more words about what for you that supreme energy or alpha point really is, and how your experience in manifesting in you and your life, because your life is so special. And I find that if you not realize, or you're not being able to verbalize to us at the moment, maybe it's still a question. Well, why Sister Denise is so full of wisdom? What kind of thing do you have this experience with the alpha point of the supreme energy?
For me, it's two things. One is the incredible light, the incredible energy that I experience when I connect in yoga, and it's really very, very powerful. And then the other is the knowledge, because contained within the alpha point is all the information about everything. And I am a person who deeply is interested in, all the details of the creator and the creation, the laws of spirituality, the karma, and, to be connected with the most intelligent being in existence. to be able to make sense of everything that on any other level doesn't make any sense, to be able to be free, to enjoy one's freedom, to be close to the ocean of love, and to be able to handle all the strange things that happen to one, the good, the bad, the crazy, whatever it is. You get the ability, the power to manage all these things. And it's beautiful, you see, because your whole life is filled with that presence, that wisdom, and everything makes sense. You know, to me, that's the good thing. That's what I like. I think also God tests us, and he has a right to, because he's the teacher, and he wants to make us very capable, competent to, you know, do something, be something, do something with our lives. And so giving us a lot of tests and challenges actually obliges us to actually rise to all of our capacity, and to develop capability, to build capacity. And this gives you a feeling of accomplishment. And that is really, really good, you know, because your whole life has more and more meaning, and a very deep dimension of meaning. It's not superficial at all. And it's nothing to do with whether circumstances are good or bad, or people are good or bad, but something else is with you all the time, and that is so special.
Rajpa, do you have anything else from the audience?
Yes. So, sister, when as we discussed, you mentioned that God is beyond the physical, and that understanding makes sense, because when we come in the physical, that's when we have all these labels, and that's when the cycle of sorrow and emotions and getting trapped in this label comes up. So when we think about God being beyond physical, then is there a way that when we close our eyes, do we like visualize something, or do we see someone? What do we see? How do we go to him in order to invoke his powers in us as well as in our surrounding? As you mentioned, he's the ocean of love and a lot of the virtues. So what do we have like visualized at the back of our mind to invoke his powers?
Well, he talks to us about the inner eye, or the third eye. And the third eye is that capacity of our mind, of our consciousness, to perceive the being of God. Because, you know, there's nothing physical about God. And our two eyes can see the physical things, and our third eye can see in the sense of perceive, not visually, but you can understand the symbolism. You see, alpha point is something visual, even though it's not physical. The point of light, it's not part of the physical world, but it's still something you can see in your mind's eye. And then you want to go into what's inside that point. You wouldn't just stay on the surface. You want to feel, you want to understand, and open yourself to it. And the more you understand yourself as a being of light, the more this becomes understandable. You know, we're so used to thinking of ourselves as physical bodies. You look in the mirror and you say, that's me, but actually look in the mirror and say, that's my face, it's not me. I am not my body. So you have to practice this. Because once you yourself are aware of yourself as a being of light, then it's easy to connect with God, because you're on the same plane. So it's really about seeing with the inner eye more than visualizing something physical. It's subtle, but give yourself time to become subtle, and gradually just allow it to steal over you, because it's a process.
That was very nice to hear. Sister, there's been a question that is it always necessary to pass through this subtle region before we can connect to God in its silence region?
Well, you don't actually need to, do that. We're used to our GPS, and we have our devices, and we follow the map. And this is another kind of map, but it's not going from one physical place to another physical place. You are thinking deeply about the difference between the physical and the non-physical. The subtle is actually the space of the mind. So in the mind, you can create images. And I think mostly people need to dwell in that space of the mind, thinking about how to think about it. Because once you arrive at that dimension of light, you really have, gone into a timeless, spaceless, imageless dimension. And I think that you need to just go there gently, gently, slowly, slowly, because it can be, too much if you lose contact. So I think we have to just spend time imagining, is it like this? Is it like that? So that subtle region, that dimension of the mind, the thought, visualizing is helpful along the way, but it's not the destination. Yeah.
There's been a reaction. It says, "It is amazing that we can see the unseen. It is like a soul has a built-in device to connect to the supreme light." And with that being said, is there a way when we are living our lives in the daily world, is there a way we can detach in a second and just connect with that alpha point? Is it possible? Because when we're in a daily lives, it sometimes gets so messy, or you cannot navigate enough, and so you want to detach. So is it possible? And if so, how would you do it?
It's only a thought away. And if you think about your daily life, there's things that are happening that grab your attention. And then there are little spaces in between where nothing's happening, or where you have to wait or stop, or you don't really need your full attention when you're doing routine things. And so during that time, you can just go and connect. And also it's very good to practice doing routine things in remembrance. We call it remembrance. So if you're going for a walk, walking and remembering, you can multitask. It's not a big deal. Cooking is very good to cook with at the same time connected with God and bring that vibration into your cooking. There are many times where you have to just wait. You may be waiting when you're visiting the doctor, or you may be waiting on your computer for something to happen. You have to just wait for something to upload or download or whatever. You may be in a grocery line or waiting at the bank or something like that. So anytime you have to wait, or even you're driving, you have to wait in a traffic jam or a red light, and you can just immediately go there, connect, take in power, and come back. It's your mind can move so fast.
It was very nice that you said that it's just a thought away.
Okay,
I mean,
just a thought away. All right.
yes.
Just a thought away. Still a long way to go with Denise then. Oh, well, we're going to have like a time often then. I think that's a lot of promise that you can make for us for the third episode for the next. I think that will be the 6th of August. And all of us have to really listen to practically that you can lead us to how we can have a silent union with the Supreme. Yeah, that will be the third episode. Thank you very much for whatever you can make it for Thailand. But then, as an alpha point, he enters to donate his life force. I know that. And such a divine energy, using you as an instrument to narrating or to sharing everything you could. Thank you very much. I couldn't thank enough anyway. Rashma, you can say anything to Denise and then get the people to say goodbye to her.
Yes, those are very beautiful, sisters. Really, Sister Dennis. So thank you so much. In this episode, we got to understand that when, with us being the point of light, there's another alpha point of light that is always stable. And when we connect to that ocean of power, you can yourself receive that power. And the fact that it's all possible in a second is very beautiful. And so with that being said, Sister Dennis, thank you so much for joining us today. It was wonderful. And I can see a comment. They said that one user said that he feels very, very peaceful when he hears your vibration. I mean, when you hears from you. So thank you so much, Sister Dennis.
Thank you so much, Denise. Sister Denise.
We'll see you all for the next episode.
Yeah, we look forward to having you back. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been really a pleasure. And even from America to Thailand is only a thought away, isn't it?
Must be really a thought away that you are here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And Shanti.
Om Shanti. So, Nikhil, well, we look forward to seeing you in the next episode on Thursday, the 6th of August, morning again. And we want to make sure that silent union is something practically happen between getting the first key and the second key of enlightenment. So we hope to see you back. Now we want to just finish with all these wrap up or summary of upper point. So you can share with that words from that video with a still shot next time.
Imagine a huge, unlimited space, far beyond the world of time, matter, and action. Golden silence, not a drop of sound, no hands of time directing existence. And peace and freedom. This is the world of eternity, silent and unchanging. In this world lives a point of conscious energy, eternally bodiless, a pure being who calls this world home. This point of pure, benevolent, and all-knowing energy radiates light. This is the Alpha point. This is God. Alpha, silent, and incognito. Yet it is the beginning, the seed, the source, the original one. This benevolent being is the eternal reference point for human life, and within whom exist the qualities we need for elevating our life. Living in this soundless and peaceful world, Alpha is the only being who is beyond the process of change and decay that we are all subject to here on earth. So beyond our world of matter and incorporeal, Alpha does enter this world of time and sounds at the moment when the negativity reaches its total and irreversible extreme. He enters to donate his life force, the divine energy of his being, to restore humanity and nature to its original state of harmony and order.